Okay, so basic Redshift breakdown, you got to change first your renderer from standard to Redshift. Remember, we already messed around with physical, but I'm going to choose Redshift. The default settings are pretty good just to get a look at what's going on. This is the one thing that might slow down things, global illumination. So I'm just going to uncheck it for now. And then nothing really changes. Like if I create like a sphere here, yeah. Let me put on some lines. Pretty janky. Let me smooth it out a little bit. I'm going to put a subdivision surface on it. So I'm going to drop the sphere in the subdivision to give it just some more basic geometry. And I press the render button. What you see is what you get. Let's go ahead now and just create like a basic scene. I'll create a disk, scale it up, push it down a little. And let's create 2 more spheres. I'm just going to duplicate this, hold Control or Command on Mac. There's 1, and then there's 2. And again, render this. Take some time because it's using my computer, my CPU, Intel processor. Or if you're on a Mac, maybe it's on Metal right now. So I'm going to go to create some new default materials. Here, we can actually create Redshift materials. Let's experiment though. Let's do a car paint material. Let's throw it on this one. All right, and if we preview it, well, it does show, but not that great. It doesn't show all the cool stuff about Redshift. Like if you double click this thumbnail, you'll see now you have what's called a node editor, meaning you can just attach things from different aspects like materials, textures, and you can organize it in what's called like a family tree orientation. And you can attach regular materials. Some regular materials don't transfer that well to Redshift, but they do attach. So if we just created like a cyane material and we gave it to the other sphere, you can still see it. And let's create one more. Let's go Redshift material. Let's go skin, and let's throw it on this third one. Okay, so again, I preview all this. Nothing looks different too much. But now the reason is I have to use a Redshift camera. Okay, so in this tab here or the file menu where it says Redshift, you see you get a bunch of options. Okay, objects, lights, cameras, materials. The thing is, when you're rendering with Redshift, you need a Redshift camera. Okay, standard camera, or all right, let me delete that camera. You create a regular camera, and then you have to add a Redshift tag. Right click, Redshift tag, and just throw the Redshift camera tag on there. All right, so 2 ways you can go about doing that. But just know everything in Redshift is in this section here. It does need Redshift lights as well to work. And it will take some regular materials, but Redshift materials will obviously be better as far as accepting things. So let me create the camera first, standard, and I'll look through it. And then let me go ahead and create a light. But before I do that, I want to set up a layout here so I can continuously see what's rendering. So I can go here to Redshift, and I can go to Redshift Render View. Okay, when I hit this, it's going to open up a new window. And this window is going to show me what the result is going to look like. Okay, now this result is going to be what you see is what you get. All right, this will be exactly how it is when I actually render it out, just like any real-time render. So this works exactly like Octane or any other real-time render. Now, if you have one monitor only, you might want to throw this somewhere in here. So you can grab this tab here, and I'm just going to place it in this section right here, maybe. So it's like right next to it, okay? And then I want to make sure it's on. I have to press this play button to start. Okay, now this render is live. All right. So wherever I move in my viewport, it will also update in real time for me. Okay, so this is like the power of real-time rendering. You can get it, even if it's not complete, you can see there's noise while I'm moving. It gives you a better estimation of what things are going to look like when they're finally rendered out. Now that being said, since we have the Redshift camera here, again, if we create a regular light, well, it does affect it a little, I guess. But it doesn't have that much effect you see on the actual Redshift material. So what we could do is we can create a Redshift light. Like say, let's create a dome light. And this dome light it actually lights the entire scene like a dome, okay? So no matter where I move it, it's basically like a dome. So there are different types of Redshift lights. Infinite light goes in one direction. Point light kind of works like an omni light. Spotlight is pretty self-explanatory. Area light works the same as an area light in the regular lighting. Now, you might be saying, why does this have all of its own stuff, materials, lights, cameras? That's because that's how a real-time render engine works. So this whole setup here, if you were to go into, say, Maya, and then upload Redshift to Maya, it would have the exact same file menu here and the exact same options here. So you got to remember, Redshift is a company itself, even though they're owned by Maxon now, but so is Octane. So basically, if you know how to use Octane or Redshift, you can bring it into any software and still use the same setup. All right. So that being said, you can see, look at this quality I'm getting is pretty good, right? Considering it's all moving in real time here. And that's the basic gist of working with real-time renderers. Whatever you do, it's going to show up here as well. So you get a better idea of what the final quality will look like. And of course, there's noise and stuff. If you want it even better, you go back into the render settings and then you mess around with this. Maybe you change the progressive passes higher. Maybe you go to high. Of course, you're going to, the higher you get, basically, the longer it's going to take. Adding motion blur, obviously, if there's no animation, it won't matter. Global illumination will also create more time while rendering, because now all the lights will indeed bounce off of each other. Hardware ray tracing, if available, more light bouncing. Anything with more light bouncing, refraction will take longer to render. And that being said, it pretty much works like that. You can change the color of these materials. In the node editor, you can do that here. You can see there is an attribute section when you select something, and you could indeed change it from here. Well, you should be able to. There we go. And that's basically it. Now, when you render it out, you render it the same way. So basically, you can have it. You can set up the save here, the format. You can either do like a JPEG sequence, MP4, and of course, you want to specify the frame rate, how many frames you're rendering out, the size, all that good stuff. And then you could just add it to the render queue, or again, bring up the render to picture viewer, and there you go. So another scene that has something similar, that let's say this scene here. And if you want to pause it, you just turn the play button off, or your computer might freeze. I'm going to turn off the RT as well. I'm going to turn this off. So if I turn it off, that means my computer's not working as hard. If I leave it on, and you can see I'm moving around, it's not updating. But if I turn it on, it's going to update for me. And now I'm rendering in real time. And this is just a stock model from the asset browser of this girl on the phone. And you can see this is just a regular material here, okay, with just the JPEG that's on the UV outline. And it is picking it up fairly well. Let's see if it takes in some light for us. Let's do a Redshift light. And it is accepting the light. Okay. Now let's create some modeling. Materials. Let's do again, I'm not that great with Redshift, or I don't have much experience with Redshift, but I'm trying to apply the same principles I would apply from like Octane to here. Go with car paint again and throw it on there. Pretty cool result already. This can be a Sprint commercial for or whatever phone, whatever company is Red. I don't know what is a Red, T-Mobile or something maybe. And then we can go ahead and just create some text here. And let's go. Turn to the nerds. Whatever. Does anybody know that commercial? Anybody seen it? Turn to the nerds. I won't go there. I'll just go T-Mobile. Let me change the font. Let's go ahead and scale this down a tad. Yeah, that's not bold enough, I gotta say. I mean, I can't think of what T-Mobile looks off the bat, but I think they're more bold than that. And there's your commercial already. Let's go ahead and give this a texture. Why don't we go, let's try what this does. Incandescent. So this is a lot like luminance. It's giving it light already, which is not good because now it blends with the background. So I'm going to X that. And maybe we just go with a regular standard material. Something, let's see, I don't know what the colors are. I think they're magenta-ish for T-Mobile. And then let's change the car paint color to let's see, not green. Let's go something. This probably doesn't. I thought it looked better with white or gray. Anyway, yeah, and then let's create like a camera animation. We're in the camera here. Let's go ahead and let's just do this the quick and dirty way. Master keyframe. Let's go to the end. And let's just move our perspective over. That's probably too much. Let's just keep her in frame. And if we play it, it will still try to play back in real time as well. But obviously, it's going to struggle a little more. right? But it is showing you with the noise as good as it can, and this is basically how any real-time render, at least the basics of any real-time render engine works. Now, they're all intricate and have differences as far as what quality you can get and what you need to add to it. Yes, that's absolutely true. But as far as getting a quick setup just to see something, they all pretty much work like this. So that being said, you can, if you feel like your graphics card can handle it, download Redshift. It should have already come with the bundle, and give it a shot. Who knows? Maybe you get lucky. My graphics card I'm working off is a NVIDIA 2060 RTX, which isn't top of the line, but it's not bottom of the line either. I would say it's probably somewhere in the middle now. It can totally handle video gaming. I play Halo on it sometimes, and I use Octane with it. So I couldn't tell you what's the minimum requirement graphics card. I'm not that technically savvy, but I can tell you like the most recent graphics card is like the RTX 3 million something, I forget, but it's a lot bigger than this. Anyway, good luck with that and see what you get.